Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kayla. I'm a leadership coach and I love to help leadership professionals find even more success in their days. Just level up. I know all of you are already amazing leaders, have accomplished a lot on your own, but I'm here to give you that extra oomph to get you to the next level. So I haven't shown my face on my channel in a while. I've been doing a lot of these planner videos because people seem to love them, and I like to give an inside look into how I use my planner to organize my days. So thanks for being here with me through that. And I want to start coming on here a little bit more and showing you some video lessons about leadership. And today I really want to talk about coaching your direct reports or people you work with. They don't have to be directly reporting to you. Maybe you're leading with influence. Maybe you don't have quote unquote power over someone as their boss. I know that sounds kind of icky, but you want to get them to do something or work with them to be even more successful and help you with a project. And specifically, I want to talk about how you can get your direct reports to actually ask you for help and tell you exactly what they need before they're in a hole and they're like, help me, save me, I'm drowning. Or you have to be like, hey, you're in a hole. What do we need to do about it? This happens a lot of time, I think, because there's a lot of shame and blame that happens in the workplace for not being able to get all of it done. And throughout the last few years, I feel like the workload has gone up for many different industries and leaders because there's less people working in the workplace, or people are trying to compete to be the best in their field, or things have just gotten more complicated and there's a lot of competition. And just because, a lot of the people working in the workforce right now are millennials, and we don't want to disappoint. We want to get right away, we want to get some positive feedback and recognition for just being awesome, right? And so it's really shameful to be able to not handle your own workload. But I'm here to tell you that that's everybody, and we all have times where we need to figure it out and be more strategic about how we handle our work. And as leaders of other folks, we need to be able to have tools to help people not reach that state where they don't feel like they can come to you, and then also where they can ask for help before it blows up in your face and you find yourself on a Saturday fielding an emergent phone call from one of your people while you're trying to enjoy a nice family activity. Here's the thing. As a leader, your job is to help prioritize the work. Okay, so the first thing I always think about is why does the work seem like it's a secret? I feel like so often, even me working with other folks in my organization, I don't know what people are doing. And I think that this is just something that we're like, oh, so-and-so's gonna get it done. Chris gets it done, Jan gets it done. And we, if someone's doing well on our team, we might not know exactly what's going on day to day. We might even think we do, but we might not actually know unless we're working side by side in the office with that person every day. And here's the thing, a lot of us are working remote a lot, and a lot of us don't have those hallway conversations anymore. And so you really need to know what the person on your team is doing so that you can help them prioritize their work. And this is not micromanaging. I think a lot of us fear that we're, what are you doing? What are you working on? That's micromanaging. No, it's your job to get results, and that means that you need to know what's happening with your team. And so one way to do that is to have other people, your direct reports, the people that you work with, be accountable for their work and share that with you proactively. You teach them to tell you what they're working on so you don't have to pull it out of them. So the first suggestion I have is to make sure that you're meeting with those people frequently. Meeting meaning having one-on-ones. Now, the way I structure my one-on-ones, I have another video. I will link it in the card above and in the description below. But I have a whole format that I use where I give them a chance to talk about whatever they need to get off their chest. I ask the question, what's on your mind? And it can be family, work, whatever, because I think it builds respect and rapport and it gets people to open up. And then the second thing is I use it for them to first speak on anything they want to share with me, anything they want to escalate to me, anything they want to ask me for help. And maybe it's they want me to celebrate something so they have good news to share. That's awesome. And then the last part of the meeting is me sharing any updates I have for them and then asking about anything they didn't mention so that I know that I feel fully informed. And then we're all good. And then if there's time, usually on a quarterly basis, I schedule time at the end for personal growth or development or professional growth and development. Sometimes it's even its own meeting just because there's always so much work to talk about. So we end up needing extra time to talk about growth and development, which I love and welcome. Those are my favorite. Make sure you're meeting with your direct reports. Now, if you are and you're having this problem where there's so much work and they are always in a hole and you're not sure what they're working on and you're not sure that you don't even realize they're being unrealistic about what they can get done, think about the cadence and the frequency at which you're meeting with them. I would say for a really, I'm going to use the word needy person, and this is not a derogatory term, but just someone who maybe has a lot of work and maybe has a lot of responsibility and accountability, and maybe wants to get your input frequently, and that those are good things. You should be meeting with them every week. I think no more than a weekly, because it's like you got to give them time to get stuff done, right? Having a weekly touch point for that person. And when you meet more frequently, oftentimes you can make those meetings shorter. So maybe half an hour versus like an hour if you were to meet like every other week or monthly. So make sure you're having one-on-ones, make sure you're structuring them, that they are preparing for the meeting and you tell them, give them expectations. This is what I would like you to bring to the meeting. Make sure those are scheduled proactively in your calendar. Set a recurring invite in your calendar. And like, let's just use this as an opportunity. This is a video going up in December. So a way to be proactive right now is to go and look at these one-on-one meetings and make sure you have them set up for 2022. And actually, I will link another video in a card in the description below. Last year, I did a video on how to be proactive, a proactive leader, and it was around the end of the year for things like this for the new year. So you can check that video out. It's a really good video and it's one of my most top viewed. Now, I mentioned giving expectations for what to bring to these one-on-ones. So let's talk about, well, what is that? Like, what should they bring to it? And I think if you're finding that they're like, I have so much to do, I'm burnt out, I need help, emergency, I haven't got it all done, I haven't shared it with you yet. What you need to have them do is make sure they brain dump like everything that they're working on. And it might shock you. You might be like, I did not know you were taking care of this because I thought it was an automated process, or I thought that I was taking care of it. You might notice some rework or some extra waste or work that you can get rid of or streamline. So that's really good. And so I have a tool for you. I'll link it in the show notes or the description below. And it is a active project list. And so I realize not everything people work on is an active project, but it is a good first brain dump of like the major things people are working on. Maybe you don't have like projects, but maybe you have like clients that you do projects for. So maybe you want to use this active project list to list all the different clients and the deliverables that you have for those clients and what they are and the timeline and when things are due. So there's a space to mark green or red on the active project list. And basically this is so that for them, they can keep track of all of their projects, but they can also visually manage it by thinking and reflecting, is this project going according to plan and is it on time? Green. Is it behind or I had a barrier? Red. There's no yellow, although everybody is so uncomfortable and always wants yellow. I'm sorry, it doesn't happen. So make sure that they really need to think it's either going well or it's not going as well as they'd hope. Green or red. And then there's a space for the name of the project or client, and then a description where you can put bullet points for status updates every week or however often you're meeting. And then there is a box for escalation to one-up leader or barriers to note. And that's where they can proactively let you know, like, hey, this is what I need to ask you today. And that helps them not forget to ask during the meeting. And so what you can do is ask that they send this active project list to you ahead of time so you can review it. But, I think just as well, when someone is in burnout and they're actively trying to climb themselves out of a hole, I appreciate just seeing it during the meeting. I can go on the fly too. So that's the first way I think they can bring you things. The second way is having leader standard work. This is like, if I had a method, my method would be leader standard work because I'm obsessed with it. And I have a template. I'll link those in the description below as well. And I have videos on it too. You can find them on my channel. I'll put them in the card as well. Leader standard work helps you visualize your calendar, and it helps you level load, and it helps you know like how much of your day is booked by meetings and projects. And it helps you identify, okay, I need to be more realistic about my time. And so oftentimes if people are saying like, I'm too busy, I have too much work, I can't get it all done, it's, it's a 40-hour work week. That's a lot of hours. But I bet you they're not spending 40 hours a week doing all their strategic projects. Think about how many hours you spend each day in meetings when you're not actually getting work done. You're just talking about getting work done. So not like active working meetings, but like discussions, a lot, sometimes over 50% of your day. And that means you need to be really realistic, really strategic, and very focused and intentional about the work that you do and when you get it done. I would have them fill out this leader standard work form. And, even you can do it with them. Look at their Outlook calendar, their whatever calendar you use for work, Google Calendar, and see like, what does it look like? Is it very full of meetings? Do they time block in their calendar? Do they set aside strategic time to work on projects? If they don't, well, they need to start doing that, and you can help them do that. And you can also be realistic and say, I don't need you to go to this meeting. I'll find someone else to go to it, or I already go to it, it's duplicative, whatever you need to do to find them more time to work on things. And this will also help you determine, like, are they doing the right work? Sometimes people get assigned work to do just because it's like leftover from the person who did the role in the past. Or in the past, it might have made sense for this metric to be measured and they're spending time gathering data, but really it doesn't matter anymore. And so this is maybe a good opportunity to take a fresh look and say, is, Chris the right person to be doing this work? And does this work still need to be getting done? The third way that you can help them figure out how to climb out of a hole is to use visual management. Now, leader standard work and an active project list are already visual tools to help level load your work or identify what work's being done and what needs to happen. The green or red on the active project list, and just having something to present to the one-up leader. The leader standard work helps you level load because you're looking at your calendar and calculating minutes in meetings and what you have on what days of the week and can level load. Visual management can take so many different forms, and my favorite form is just like a PDCA board or just a board with a brain dump of projects on Post-it notes or sticky notes. You can go on my Instagram. I'll post an example this week in my stories or on my feed. All you would do is for every project, you'd write the name of it on a Post-it. So here's one. Okay, so you'd write the name on it and you would stick it on the wall. Okay, and you would do that for every single project that you have. And that person would then show you their list of projects. And it really starts to show you like, oh my goodness, there are so many things. And so we want to categorize them into things we're planning on doing, things we are actively doing, things we're checking, like, did it go well? And things we're acting on, like, okay, now we're implementing fully and it's going to be a sustainable project moving forward, or maybe it's done, or it can be plan, do, done. I'm planning, I'm working actively on this project, I'm done with this project. And this is a really nice way to, and it feels good too. You go up to it and you're like, okay, this is in the plan space. Now I'm doing it and I'm done. You actually get to move it through the stages. And if you use Microsoft Teams, there is a Kanban board within the Teams app. If you want me to demo that, put a comment below, because it's a nice electronic Kanban board or visual management board that you can have add many people to, so you as the boss can see it, or the one-up leader can see it, and your direct report can move their cards around so they have full control over it as well. So there are a lot of ways to avoid getting yourself dug into a hole. But admittedly, I will say, you can still get dug into a hole if you have all these systems in place, but maybe you're just vastly overwhelmed and don't have resources. So I would say just be very gracious with yourself and with your team. And one way that you can be more vulnerable with your team is to be more empathetic with them and say, hey, look, visually, we've mapped out all your projects. You have way too many to do. Like, it's humanly impossible for you to get all these done in 1 week. So here's the thing, I'm going to help you figure out the priority. So if you were to work on, any of these projects throughout the week, here would be my recommendation for the top 3 to spend your focus. Or you might say something like, I want you to solely work on this project. It's so close to getting accomplished and complete until it's done. Spend focused energy on it. And then when it's done, then we can work on the other things. But I think single tasking is going to be way better than multitasking and spreading yourself thin and having a lot done in a lot of different projects versus like mostly done in one project and having one project complete. So again, it's not your job to save them, but it is your job to help them dig themselves out of a hole and to recognize when to ask for help before they can't manage their work and be specific about what they need. I did a like personal growth year-long like life coaching last year, and one of the key learnings from that was, especially as women and especially as women in leadership, asking for what you need. So the other day, I'm on maternity leave. I have a newborn. I haven't showered. I haven't worked out. Like I'm really needing some like getting some energy back into me. Like I really need some respite. And so my husband was taking our 3-year-old daughter to the pool. I was like, thank goodness, that's wonderful for her and for him. When he gets back, like I'm going to be ready to ask him for what I need. So I had to think about like, what is that? And it was like, I really want to do XYZ, but what I need is a nap. So when he came home, I was like, I'm at my emotional, mental, and physical limit. I need a 2-hour nap. Can you help me get that? And he was like, yeah, I can do that for you. So I think we're often afraid to ask for help, but really that shows that your direct report is trusts you, respects you, and really wants your help. And so even if they're in a hole and you're like, this could have been avoided, I think one thing you can do is show empathy and say, thank you for coming to me to let me know that you're in the hole. And I want to help you get out of that and also build systems so this doesn't happen again, or that when it does, you know how to get out. And so I'm really proud of you for bringing this forward. Let's work together. So you can always flip it on its head and make it a super positive thing and a great thing to put new systems in place for you. So if you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a moment from me. And don't forget to check out the description below because I will put all the resources I mentioned in the description. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, I will also have those linked in my blog, which you can find in the show notes. All right, everyone, take care, and I will see you with the next video.